the Kobalt 24 volt max high torque impact wrench. Model number is the KXIW 1424A-03. Now this is supposed to have 1,200 foot-pounds of breakaway torque or loosening torque or nut busting torque, whatever you want to call that, and 700 foot-pounds of fastening torque. But does it really? And what type of features does it offer? Well, let's dig in and find out. Let's look at these features up close, then we'll actually test the unit, then we'll come back, give you our thoughts on it. Be right back. What we have today is the Kobalt XTR high torque half-inch impact wrench. So blow molded case is what you'll get when you get this kit, and you get a 4 amp hour of their ultimate output battery. So it's 24 volt max, 4 amp hour, and then you get a charger as well. The half-inch anvil is a hog ring style anvil, and I believe that's the only way it comes. You cannot get this in a pin detent, so hog ring, or others would say a friction ring anvil on there, and again it's a half-inch anvil. You do get a rubber cover here for the nose cone, so it keeps from not only beating up your tool, but also keeps you from banging up a car or vehicle or you know, whatever you may be working on. Expensive wheels as well, right? Because we know wheels are not getting any cheaper these days. Lots of custom ones out there. Now, as far as some of the features on this, number one, you see a lot of rubber overmolding here, not only in the handle, which is pretty typical. Nice grip design there that flows well into the glass reinforced fiber as well, but also here on any impact points on the back of the gun, as well as on the top, and as I mentioned, on the nose cone. Now, also notice that even on the battery, there's some rubber overmolding here as well, so it kind of gives you a soft feel when sitting on a surface or what have you, so that gives you a little bit of protection. Fuel gauge here on the battery with 4 lights on it, so you get roughly 25%, 50%, 75, and 100. So when it's on 4 bars, that's anywhere from 76 to 100%, and so forth for the rest. Your LED light is down here. It's not up here near the anvil, so when you pull the trigger, that light comes on and stays on for a few seconds, as well as right here above the light is going to be your speed modes, or your different power modes, if you will, and there's just 3 on this impact wrench. Pretty simple tool, not a lot of bells and whistles as far as auto modes or anything like that. So speed 1, speed 2, and speed 3, we'll check those out when we test it here in one moment. Variable speed trigger here, so when you pull the trigger, you can pretty much make this thing crawl as almost as slow as you want to. That's pretty fast there, but so the more you pull that trigger, the more you're going to see that speed increase. If I go down, one thing I noticed here, so now I'm on speed 1 there. So pretty slow, right? Also in reverse. So whether I'm in reverse or forward, we're getting that reduced power. Some impact wrenches in reverse gives you full power. Not on this one. You're going to get that limited power on whatever speed you're in reverse as well as forward. So in speed 1 or power mode 1, you're going to get 0 to 900 RPMs, and impacts per minute are going to be 0 to 1050. Now in speed 2, you're going to get 0 to 1350 RPMs and 0 to 1600 impacts per minute, and then wide open or in full power mode, speed 3, you're going to get up to 1900 RPMs and up to 2100 impacts per minute. Now in speed 3 or in 100% power, you're going to get up to, or this is what Kobalt claims, 750 foot-pounds of fastening torque or tightening torque, and 1,200 foot-pounds of breakaway nut-busting torque, loosening torque, whatever you want to call that. So up to 1,200 on the loosening torque. So 750 and 1,200. Now let's take a look at how much this weighs. Again, we're going to weigh it with the 4 amp hour battery, because we know we use tools with batteries on them. So we're in, let's change that to pounds and ounces. There we go. And we're looking at a little over 8 pounds. Wow, 8.5 pounds. So 8 pounds, 9.5 ounces. If we want to see that in grams, that's 3,900 grams. So almost 9 pounds or 8.5 pounds, if you will. So this is a high torque impact wrench. So we're not expecting it to be compact or light or anything like that. So you're going to know that you're carrying this around. That's not off the charts by any means. I've seen those heavier than that, but it is not going to be a light tool. It's made to be the beast of the lineup, right? So let's use this and see what we think. Okay, we're going to start a little bit different this time. What we're going to do, we're going to tighten these fasteners, these nuts, to 100 foot-pounds, then 150, 200, so incrementally up 50 pounds each. Now, what we're going to do is we know this thing will easily do 100 foot-pounds, but we're going to start in mode 1. Every time I do an impact wrench, people want to know, what do the different modes do? How much will they do? Even though I say don't count on the results of what we're saying these modes do, because these are not precise instruments, still will give you an idea of what each one of the modes will do. So, starting at 100 foot-pounds, we'll start in mode 1 and see how far we go. We'll kind of make a mark on that okay, speed 1 does X amount, and then we'll go to mode 2, and then we'll carry on. So we'll keep incrementally getting up. And these last 4 nuts down here, these are new, and so we can go all the way up to thousands of foot-pounds if we want, but actually, for right this moment, we can only go up to 700 foot-pounds. So I know we're not going to tax out the limit on this, but we're still going to see, will this thing be able to break free 700 foot-pounds, which it should be able to easily do. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll take our torque gun, we'll start at 100 foot-pounds, we'll torque all these, and then we'll come back with the impact wrench, starting with mode 1, and go from there. Okay, so starting with 100 foot-pounds, we'll make sure we're in speed 1 there. And as far as the battery goes, we've got a full battery as well. Make sure we're in reverse. 100 foot-pounds and speed 1. Yep, did that, no problem. 150, mode 2. Or, I'm sorry, in mode 1. So 150, no problem. 200, no problem. 250, no problem. 300, no problem. So more than what mode 1 I thought would take us to. So we've gone 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, now 350 foot-pounds. Got that too. Now 400 foot-pounds in speed 1. Okay, it did get it. It was there kind of at the end. I don't like to let it hit any longer than 10 seconds, but it did it. Let me switch out my sockets. And now we're going to 450. Now, here's the thing. I know I've got an adapter on here. We're getting more sockets that will be able to fit this without having an adapter, but since we're not getting into the max of what this unit can do anyway, I'm not that concerned about it. So we're starting at 450 foot-pounds. Now, keep in mind also, I probably should have started at 400 here because these are fine threaded fasteners and they basically retain their resistance longer because that slower ramp off. So this is probably going to take more effort than the other bolts did. Okay, I wanted to bring us in a little closer here. So now we're at 450 foot-pounds. We're still on mode 1, and here we go. Okay, so if you've been with me for very long or watched very many of my impact wrench videos, typically I let those hit for 10 seconds. If it starts moving, I'll allow it to keep hitting, and that's what happened. If you saw that index mark before the 10-second was up, it started moving very slowly. And as I mentioned, the fine thread of that fastener, it definitely kept that retention onto that nut for a longer period of time was really slow back off there. So 450 foot-pounds in mode 1, that's pretty impressive. This thing hits really hard. So now we're at 500 foot-pounds. Again, that one was moving as well, so I had to let it keep going. So now we're at 550 foot-pounds. Wow, okay. So we've now eclipsed 550 foot-pounds in speed 1 or mode 1 of this impact wrench. So we'll move on to 600 foot-pounds. Just to make sure you know, I'm still in speed 1 there. As far as the battery, we've still got 4 bars on it as well. Here we go, 600 foot-pounds, speed 1. Again, it was moving, so I had to let it keep going. So I never dreamed in speed 1 we would get this far. I knew in speed 2 we'd probably get this far. But anyway, so we've gotten to 600 foot-pounds. Let's go back. We'll start here at 650, and then we'll go to 700, which is really maxing out our torque gun. Okay, so we're starting at 650 foot-pounds, still on mode 1. Here we go. Okay, that's it. So it did 600 foot-pounds, not 650 in mode 1. Let's go to mode 2 now. Speed 2, if you will. Well, that's really interesting. So even though it hits faster, we're not getting the break off, even in speed 2. Make sure let's try it again. So 650 foot-pounds, it seemed like it moved a little, but still, even after holding it on there, it didn't move it anymore. So we're going to say speed 1 and 2 were roughly about the same as far as power. Definitely on speed and impacts per minute, they're different. So now let's see what happens. Now we've gone to speed mode 3, 650 foot-pounds. Okay. Still took a little bit. 700 foot-pounds. 700 again. And 700 once more. Okay, that was very interesting. So that's as high as we can go with our torque gun. But one thing that tells me is this thing, regardless of the speed, the hammer hits really hard. Now, without opening this up, we don't know the weight of the impact mechanism in there, what have you. Maybe we'll take that apart at another time. But that's really great to know. I mean, again, regardless of the speed, it didn't take the number of impacts per minute, but it just took the actual mass effect of the inertia from the internal mechanism to drive those fasteners free. And even in speed 1, as slow as it was, as high as basically speed 2 would take us as well. Then obviously speed 3 gave us a little more, and then carried us on into at least 700 foot-pounds. We'll come back. We'll have the ability soon to be able to test the max of that, and then we'll do the tightening force as well, but this video has already gotten long enough. Don't really like to get any longer than 20 minutes, so we'll come back and do that, and we'll cover some more things like durability and what we think of it after using it for a while. So there you have it. It's the Kobalt XTR high torque impact wrench. We definitely didn't expect that in speed 1 or mode 1, button 1, whatever you wanted to call that it would be able to do, what, 600 foot-pounds of force? So it actually, did that in speed 1. And then at speed 2, wouldn't even be able to go beyond that. So that was very interesting. Now, once we went to speed 3, it was definitely be able to break that free, as well as 650 and 700 foot-pounds as well. Now, currently our testing rig, our torque guns, will only go up to 700 foot-pounds. We have a torque multiplier coming in, and we'll be able to go well beyond that and should be able to test up to about 2,000 foot-pounds of force. In a later video, we will test the 1,200 foot-pounds max breakaway force on this. Does it fall short? Does it meet it? Does it go beyond it? As well as the 750 foot-pounds of tightening force. Now, as far as price on this, $269 all in. So the whole kit, as you see it here, the impact wrench, the charger, the 4 amp hour ultimate output battery, all of this included is only $269 from Lowe's. You also get a 5-year tool warranty and a 3-year battery warranty. That's a pretty good warranty when you're looking at power tools. In fact, that's a really good warranty when you're looking at power tools. Check it out for yourself. You can find it at your local Lowe's, or you can go to Lowe's.com and find it as well. If you don't mind, would you also keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter? And would you mind hitting that like and subscribe button, but only if you like this video. If you hated this video, give us that thumbs down, but would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and keep smiling.